Hi everyone, welcome to our live interview with Bruce Darnell. Very happy to have you here today.
Thank you.
Yeah, we prepared a couple of questions. The first part will be the questions of the agency, and the second part are the questions of the people who we asked on Instagram, what would you like to know from Bruce? So maybe we just start with the first question. How did your model career start?
Ja, das ist eine ganz lange Geschichte, ehrlich gesagt. Ich versuche das mal kurz zu machen. Why am I speaking German? I'm going to speak English. It's so funny. Actually, someone saw me on the street and sent me to a casting, and that's actually how the whole thing started. I went to the casting. I was completely afraid. I was frightened because there were so many people, and obviously at that time I had no modeling experience, and I came into this room. There were so many people, and they didn't get the job, but I got the job. So that's basically how everything started. Very exciting. And I have to admit, I was about 31 at the time when that started, which is actually quite late for modeling.
41?
31.
Oh, 31, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that was a long time ago.
Yeah. But you still look super young, so probably that time you look very young as well.
You are more than kind, Claudia. More than kind. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Then our next question would be, which designer would you like to work with?
Well, that's a very good question. Which designer would I like to work with? There's like a lot of them. I mean, I think what's really hot right now is Celine, what they're doing for men. Balenciaga is, of course, a really great designer. I would really like to work the catwalk for them. I mean, I started out, I got my big break with Hermes in Paris. That's a long time ago. So I would like to go back, knock on the door to Hermes and say, listen, I'm still here, and do their show again. And of course, my best designer of all time is Tom Ford.
Yeah.
I would love to walk in the show for Tom Ford.
Yeah, cool. But would you be up also for something like more street style, like Off-White or something like that?
I mean, I think Off-White would be great for me. I mean, at the end of the day, it's whatever designer comes knocking at my door or to the agency and said, listen, we want to have Bruce Darnell for the fashion show, I'm ready to go. I can put on anything, I can jump into any situation and do it. For me, it's no problem.
Okay, great. Then the next question would be, which fashion show, well, you kind of answered that question already, it's Tom Ford.
Yeah.
Which fashion show would be your dream to walk?
That's also a very good question. I would have to say my dream fashion show would be, right now in the moment, I have two actually. I'll come back to Celine because I really like what they're doing for men. And of course, Balenciaga. Everybody knows Balenciaga. And I have one more. One more. And this will be actually on top of the list. Yeah. That would be Dior Men because they're so hot right now. They're so really hard. Nice and I would rock that show, I'm sure. Dior would be the best for me.
Yeah, great. So we know what we have to work on.
Exactly. Get those shows.
Yes. And then another question, which photographer is your favorite photographer of all times?
That's a very good question as well, Claudia. I have to say of all time, I mean, there's like three. The first one I would have to say Peter Lindbergh. I mean, unfortunately, he's passed on. But I have to say, probably a lot of people don't know this, but the work that he did is, it's iconic. And the thing is, why it's so iconic is because he made women beautiful on a completely different level. He stripped all the makeup away. He did all the pictures in black and white. And he wasn't interested in the beauty on the outside of the women. He was interested in the beauty on the inside of the women. And he brought that out in all of his pictures, and you saw that. And let us not forget, the most amazing thing, what you you can never forget is he was like the start of the whole era of the supermodels. Yes. When he did this amazing picture with Naomi Campbell, Lily Evangelista, Christy Turlington, I think Claudia Schiffer was also on that picture, and maybe a few others, but that was just iconic. And even to this day, these black and white photos, I still have a lot of these images in my head. And then I would have to say the second one would probably be a very interesting woman, Annie Leibovitz. I think she was amazing. Yeah. She really took photography on a completely different level. And not only did she start out with models, but she just went one step higher. She started filming a lot of actors and artists and stuff, and that just made it very vibrant. And she had I would say, a very intelligent approach about filming these people, because models, not models, but actors and celebrities, they're set in their own ways. So she would just come into the room, she would just look at them, talk a little bit with them, and then she would go out of the room, and then she would come back and just say, listen, just let everything go and let's shoot it. And to actually to build that trust with the celebrity and with models, and then project that on camera and see the end product, it was really amazing. And one of my all-time favorites, also not here anymore, her bricks. I mean, just beautiful pictures. And these are pictures that will go in the archives forever, and you will never forget those. And those are like the 3 all-time favorite photographers for me and my generation. Of course, there's like a lot of great new photographers and everything, but those are 3 photographers that'll always have a strong inspiration for me.
Yeah, great choice. Then another question, what is a location you would love to go to and shoot?
I mean, I'm really happy to be asking all these great locations, asking these great questions. I mean, I've had the opportunity to work in some really good places a long time ago, but I would have to say today, I think of 2 places that have such a great inspiration for me. One would actually be Lisbon. I think would be amazing to do something there. And the classic for me is New York, because of the hustle and bustle of the city, the stress of the city, the vibrant of the city, the energy of the city. Just shooting in the middle of New York on the street in front of people, and people watching, and just taxis going by and people walking by, because New Yorkers, they just don't care. I mean, they've seen 1,000 fashion shoots. And what's so interesting about shooting in New York is not just you have a model in a location, you also have the background of the people that are looking at the shoot and everything. And so many international people that they're all coming to this big melting pot like New York. And that's the favorite location for me. It's just amazing. And again, you can say iconic.
Yeah, right. I love New York too, so I completely understand you. Then the last of our questions, what was your favorite job so far you have done?
You know, this is also a very good question. I have to say, my favorite job that I did was really the fashion show for Hermes, because at the time I did that fashion show for Hermes, I had gone to this designer for 5 years, and they always closed the door in my face. So after the 5th year, I said, okay, it's either now or never. So I went back to Hermes after the 5th year, and I ended up getting the show. I think it was just not giving up, fighting to get the show. And at that time that I got the show, there were not many black models working in the industry, which is today, it's not a problem. But at that time, I was one of the first black male models to work for Hermes, and to fight after so long, and to get validated, not as a person of color, but as a person, as a model that can actually walk in a fashion show, and that is a good botschaft to our collection. That was, I'd have to say that was my best job. By no doubt, that was my best job.
Great. Great. Yeah, and then we have the question of our people from Instagram. The first question was, do you think it was quite late to start modeling with 31? Was it a problem, or?
Well, I don't think it's never too late to start as a model, because at the end of the day, it's like, it just depends on how the fashion business is going. And at this day, anyone can work in the fashion business. Of course, you have to have personality, you have to have a lot of discipline, and most of the time you have to be in the right place at the right time, and you have to have a lot of luck. 31 to start as a model from society, maybe that was a little bit late, but I did it, and I had a very interesting career. So in that aspect, I think for me, it was the right thing to do, and it was the right decision and the right choice at that time. Yeah. Today, it might be a little bit different, because the fashion is very, very young, and it's very vibrant, and maybe 31 today might be a little bit But
well, you never know.
you never know exactly. So,
everybody's different. It's
Every-
what works for you might not work.
yeah, and there's this one word that comes in mind, diversity, you know, so that just opens all doors on all levels.
Yeah.
So that's a very good thing now.
Okay, cool. What are the 3 most important signs to recognize a very successful model?
The 3 most important things, I think I have to say the very first one, the model, to recognize something in a model is, a model has to be something with a very unusual look, because the fashion business is going so fast and it's changing so fast. So you've basically seen everything. I can only say that in German, das etwas anderes, was die anderen Mädchen einfach nicht haben. Und dann natürlich ein Mädchen oder ein Model, dass man weiß, dass man die auch gut verkaufen kann auf eine international Ebene, High Fashion Editorial und natürlich auf eine commercial Ebene. Das Model muss das einfach haben. Das ist von der Agentur natürlich sehr wichtig und für die Career für das Model ist natürlich auch sehr wichtig. Und ich glaube, das allerletzte, was wirklich sehr, sehr wichtig ist, ich muss immer auf diese Wort kommen, Personality. You have to have personality. You have to have personality. That's the most important thing.
Yeah.
So I hope I answered the question good for the people.
I think yes. What is your favorite model?
You know, that's also a very good question. I have like a lot of favorite models. I have to say one of the most beautiful models for me is a German girl, and her name is Julia Stegner. I think she's just phenomenal. I mean, of course, Claudia Schiffer had this great career. Tony Garner was also a great model, is also still working today. But Julia Stegner, she has something mysterious. She has an old school glamour, and I love her for that. I would say that's my favorite model. If you would ask me what are some of my favorite models from the last 10 years or something like that, of course I would say Linda Evangelista. I still love Naomi Campbell because she's been a pioneer in this business for black models, and she's really worked hard. And I don't know how old she is now, but she still looks fantastic, and she's still working as to this day. So there's a lot of them, but Julia Stegner is for me like just fantastic.
Great. What do you love the most about the modeling job?
I think what I like about a modeling job is that you're always put in a completely different situation, and you're always being tested, and you're always learning from the photographer, learning something new about yourself. And I think that's one of the most important things for me working as a model, or had this career as a model, that you have to give the photographer something. It's a collaboration of a stylist, a fashion photographer, a model, and all of the people that behind the Calista that are all coming together and creating something special. Because at the end of the day, the most important thing is that one picture for that client. That's the most important thing. And you have to have good people with you to make this happen. And I would say that's the most challenging, the most rewarding, coming on set, understanding everybody, collaborating with everyone, and doing something special. That's fantastic.
Yeah, great answer. And then the last question is, how do you become a male model?
Well, I think to become a male model is very simple. It's again of that thing that you have to have that gewisse etwas. You have to have a certain allure. I think for a male model, when people say, okay, what is allure? Allure is something for me that je ne sais quoi, that you have to work as a male model, and that to this you have to have a lot of discipline, and you have to also be in the right place at the right time, and you have to have or find a good agency that understand you, that's completely honest with you, and to push you in the right direction. That's what you have to have to be a good male model. And I have to also say something. it's not just about looking good anymore. You have to bring something else with you, and that's really, really important. And that's, I have to always come back to personality. And when you finally get in the agency, you have to be professional. And that starts from the day you walk into the agency, because the business is moving so fast. It's a completely different time for the last 20 years and everything. And I have to say one more thing, if you allow me. It's so important today as a model for women, for men. You have to have Instagram, Facebook, because it's a business now, and you're I don't want to say you're selling yourself, but you have to represent yourself on that level. And when you have all of these qualities and all of these, you bring all of these things together, then that's the voraussetzung, es ein guter Model zu arbeiten, meiner Meinung nach. Did I say it good? Good?
Yeah, so thank you, Bruce, for answering all these questions, our questions and the questions of Instagram. And yeah, I hope you have a lovely day here with us.
Thank you. It was a lot of fun, and I love Claudia. We have a long history together. We go back a really, really long way. So this is a very exciting and new thing that we're going to collaborate together and do some really good things together. So I'm looking forward to seeing you guys on Instagram again, and please stay in tune to MODELWERK, because it's one of the best agencies in Germany, and keep asking questions.
Thank you.
Thank you, Claudia. Thank you so much. Thank you.